the left. Oh yeah, live. We are live.
Hey.
So welcome. Wow, I've been offline for so long. This is quite a surreal experience jumping on, and I wouldn't have done it quite so soon, other than the fact am being joined by these incredible women. We've got Deb Brock Evans, we've got Wendy V, we've got Lisa Jeffrey, and I'm Jacqlin Richards. And I wanted to welcome you all to this collective pulse discussion on the topic of time, rethinking our relationship with time. And this has been a huge thing for me, and I can't wait to hear what you beauties share about this topic, because from what I'm seeing and what I'm experiencing in my own life, our relationship with time is shifting again. It's like, God, we thought didn't have enough time before, and now everything just feels like it's being squeezed even more. And for me, understanding my relationship with time, that this is not about schedules and morning routines and to-do lists. This is about where our attention is, and it's going to such a deeper level, which I love about this conversation. And I started looking at this around the horizontal dimension, and this is the way that I started to understand or change my relationship with time. So what is the horizontal dimension? It's like that hamster wheel of like being either in the past or the future, and how to get off that horizontal dimension into what I've learned as the vertical dimension, right? The here and now, the present moment. And for me, I know that that's where I receive, that's where I'm still, that's where I create this space for grace, which is the little sort of mantra that I love to experience that vertical dimension. So would love to have a little icebreaker, and maybe you can introduce yourself in this icebreaker. But one of my mentors years ago, he said to me, where do you lose time? Like, what are you doing? Who are you being? Like, what's happening in your world when you literally lose time? When time like stretches or expands or melts or extends, or however you want to language it. So I'd love to take it around the group here, this group of beautiful women, and hear from you about where you lose time, who you are, and just a little snippet about yourself. Wendy, let's start with you.
Oh, okay. All right. So I am Wendy V. I think I'm going to start doing that every time now. Yeah, I love this. I really love this conversation as well. And I agree with that feeling of presence being when we lose time. And so I was reflecting on that. And there's several. One is easily meditation, with deep meditation. There is those moments when you come out of a meditation, and when I come out of a meditation and I kind of have to reboot myself to go, oh yeah, we're doing this life thing, so it's about picking up the details of that again. So I would definitely say that. But in more sort of everydayness, there's two that come to mind. One is well, maybe three. One is like driving, when you're driving a long distance and you're listening to music, or you're listening to a podcast or whatever else, is just this in the moment, like it's just you and the car and that vibration. So I also feel like that often for myself in the gym when I get a good workout going, and I'm in the flow. And the other one would probably be literally those moments like this, together with friends, having really amazing conversations that just spiral off into the infinity of everything that's possible. Those are timeless moments for me that I just adore. So yeah, those would be my top three. Four.
Beautiful. I absolutely agree with the driving one. It's like I'm moving, but I'm still. It's this it's a beautiful sensation. I love it. Deb, would you like to lean in and tell us when you literally lose time?
Lean in, yes, because of my sound, right? Yes, lean in. You know, ladies, I have a feeling I'm going to be the one on this panel who's like the counter to a lot of what you're saying, because I'm still quite new on this journey. And I honestly, and here I am, rock the boat. That's generally what I do too. So I lose time when I'm working. And
Mhm.
I don't know about you, but I can easily get distracted. So I can lose time through distractions. And I don't
Mm.
know if that's what some of our viewers might relate to, but for me, it just seems to be getting worse and worse as time goes on. There are so many things vying for our attention, and even just to do one task, moving, to log on to one platform to do a thing or get an email up or what have you. There's something else that you feel needs addressing straight away. And so you address that. And then you're on this platform and then you see something and I want to share that. And before I know it, it was, what was I doing again? So it's Wendy here
Yeah.
where I am. So I can lose time working. I can lose time scrolling. And I think that's something a lot of, whoa, getting blown away here. That's something a lot of people can relate to. Yeah, so I just wanted to add that in there. In
Mm.
terms of, um, I mean, the next part of this is, and we'll get to that, is how do you get back into the zone, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I lose time on the daily. I mean, my life is living with my husband and son. We're on a boat or we're house sitting. We're with each other 24/7, 365 days of the year. Our lives are so blended, our work and school and life is so blended that we get called, distracted and called this all the time. It's it's quite crazy, but it's
Mm.
sort of become my new normal, and
Yeah.
I'm learning to to live in that space in a more grounded way. But it does bring a lot of attention to where I need to present my be present and give my full attention to things. I have
Yeah.
to be a lot more conscious about it. Yeah.
Attention. I love it.
Mhm.
Lisa, where do you lose time?
Hi, I'm Lisa Jeffrey. All the time, I'd have to agree with Deb there. I'm very new to the business world, and I often find myself working till 11 o'clock at night, and I look at my time and I go, "Oh my gosh," you know. But on a more positive note, I was actually thinking about the times that I have lost time, and I had last week. I had this absolutely amazing sleep and I was really tired. I went to bed. I lay down. I was literally asleep in seconds. And I woke up. It was 6 o'clock. I was like, how did that happen? I hadn't moved. The sheets were still all perfect. And it was like half an hour had gone past. And it wasn't until I looked out the window and saw that it was light that I realized it was the next day.
Mm.
And then the other time I often lose time is actually when I'm with a client and I'm doing an energy healing. Because for me, the experience of being in someone else's energy field is such a wonderful experience. And I often lose time. I could stay there for 2 hours and it feels like half an hour. Yeah.
Yeah. Love it. Love all of those. I
Yeah.
mean, for mine, definitely dance, definitely writing, work. I love my work. It's like whatever it is that I love, that just lights me up and brings me so much joy. It's like the clock is not being watched, right?
Mm.
I'm in the moment. I'm in the zone. I'm present. So loving everything that you are all saying. And this horizontal dimension that horizontal dimension that I mentioned, right? Replaying or reliving the past. I know that I've done that so much in my life and spent so much time doing it. I remember I used to go to sleep and relive all of these old past moments as if I could change them, right? Such a waste of time.
Mm.
Maybe I'll wake up and it'll be different, or just freaking out about the future. I used to call it catastrophizing, right? Going down all these different paths. What if that happened, or what if this happened? And what I want to ask you all is, how do you catch yourself that you're there, right? Either in the past or in the future. How do you catch yourself? What's your marker or your red flag, and then what's the fastest way to get you back? right? Into the now, into the present.
Well, I think for me, it's have I been here before, and how comfortable does this feel? Hang on, I've been having these thoughts before. I feel pretty comfortable there, and I catch myself out. This is just a recurring story that I'm playing out. I can change that now, so I'm getting better at spotting it earlier. And sometimes, I'll just go, well, actually, I want to be there right now. I'll just let myself, but I might, be wary of how long I'm going to let myself, because I'm learning more as well. Walking with people like you guys who have been doing this a lot longer than me, that sometimes you just need to let yourself do that, actually, and even go deeper. Okay, let's revisit that. Someone needs to be heard. Maybe the little girl in here needs to be heard again, or some hurt that needs to be refelt again and released again. And often I find these things come to me really early in the morning when I'm waking. I don't know about you guys, but it's that waking time that I find myself thinking about old, relationships or things that have happened in the past that I'd really like to see resolved or changed, and I replay them in my mind over and over again as I'm coming to. I don't know about you guys.
So how do you get yourself back when you are there? What do you do, Deb, that brings yourself back?
Again, it's the repetition of it, and the frequency of it as well. If it's a negative frequency and it's something I've been there before, I will say, okay, is this, for example, in the morning, is this the way I want to start my day? And I'll reframe it, and I'll do something like a positive hypnotherapy session where I'll really focus on bigging myself up and building myself up while I'm in that higher alpha state. Yeah,
it's true.
Beautiful.
I also love nature. Sorry, just before I move on, I'll also go for a walk. If I find I'm spiraling through the day and I'm not getting any better off, I will get out and walk in nature as much as possible and ground and get my shoes off, ground in the grass, and preferably do it alone. So for me, a lot of it's I got to get away from everyone else and get into my own space.
Yeah, totally agree there, Deb. That's my go-to as well. Get the shoes off, go and get some sunshine, just get outside, get some fresh air. 10 minutes of sunshine always works for me. But yeah, the spiraling thoughts at usually late at night, you're replaying usually old memories, old things. And I stop myself and I say to myself, Lisa, it's what use or what good is that doing for you at this point? Yes, sometimes we can look back on those and go, oh, okay, yes, learned a lesson there. But a lot of the time it's not really doing you any good. And so I just say to myself, stop, be kind to yourself. And I think the most important thing I tell myself these days is my thoughts are everything. My thoughts determine my emotional state. My thoughts determine my vibration, my frequency, the way that people around me interact with me, the way I interact with other people, and just what happens in my everyday life. Like you, Deb, get up in the morning and say, right, this is how the day is going to be. And this is how I'm going to think about the day. I'm going to think about the day with gratitude. I'm going to think about the day in a positive light. And I'm going to see, actually, how good can this day get? That's what I say to myself.
Wendy V.
I think one thing that I agree with, it was interesting that, Deb, you were talking about distraction, because I understand, like, sometimes when I do find that spiraling concept, I find that I need a circuit breaker. Sometimes I feel myself being in this pattern. Maybe it's scrolling, maybe it's worrying or something like that. And I can feel that there is a hijacking of my thought patterns. And so then it is what I find is I need a circuit breaker in that moment. So if it's like, if I'm scrolling, it's like just put the thing down, or if I am thinking about something, it's like listen to some music, do some movement. The animals are a big circuit breaker for me. Like nature, like what we said. But for me, it's always like, and even like just changing tasks sometimes, just getting onto a different task, because the thought pattern then is directed something else, somewhere completely different. And I'm breaking that circuit of that stuck, hardwired, like it's almost like there's a circuit holding, and I've got this visual in my head of the brain going and it's stuck, and you just need a circuit breaker. You need to unplug it by focusing somewhere else. So I think that's the biggest thing. It's just anything to break that circuit.
Yeah, I love this. It's like it's to interrupt it, right? It's like and a change of environment, a change of scene. I remember when I was having moments with my small children, I would literally just, with the baby outside around the block, just holding the baby, a baby in the tree, how you used to hold the baby in the tree, and it would just shift the energy or shift. And one thing that I'm hearing from everyone is like, it's a reorientation, right? Yes, there's an interruption. Yes, there's a circuit breaker, which I love the way you put that, Wendy, but then a reorientation. And I know for me, just figuring out where am I right now? Like, where is my attention right now? Is it on my thoughts and my feelings, right? Which aren't facts. Yeah. It's not an accurate representation of what's actually happening in the moment, especially if I'm spiraling. And also to check in with my nervous system. It's like, what is my nervous system doing right now? And what does it need? And it's one of the reasons why I have this, this cherry blossom tattoo on my arm, because it reminds me to be in the present moment, right? It's like here now. I've got this permanent reminder on my body to remind myself that I'm here. So I love all of these cues and these interruptions or these circuit breakers. And once we're aware that we've fallen off the horse, or we're outside of our window of resilience, which is what I call it, when we're not resourced, our nervous system isn't resourced, we're not anchored or grounded or present.
Yeah, how many of you actually breathe, use breathing?
Breathing all the time, like shaking. Shaking is a really great, very, very simple, and it can literally just be a few minutes, or three deep breaths, right? And you're in a different state.
Or using your voice now as well. Like you say, to something quite, sudden to really break that circuit. I love that circuit breaking thing. Because even when you find yourself scrolling, for example, I can get my phone and slam it down and go, no more, and then try and give my son some attention. But I'll still be thinking the thing that was consuming me. I'm really trying to listen to him, but it might be, not as much interest to me. Like, it might be about dinosaurs or something. And I'm trying really hard to be present with him, but I'm still... And that's where you need more tools, isn't it?
And I love that you've said that, Deb, because whatever's in there and moving and consuming, right, to actually give ourselves an opportunity to move that through, right, and through breath, through sound, which you mentioned, like just sound, like roaring or what, just moving through breath, sound, movement, right? 3 really simple keys, right, to be able to use. And it doesn't, what I love about these keys, they don't have to be rocket science, right? 3 deep breaths with your hands on your chest, moving your body, like shaking it. You don't have to go and do all the techniques and and sounding. As long as you're taking care of your voice, you're moving energy through. I love it.
Can I share something quickly that one of our viewers...
Lean in, Deb.
Yeah, look. Sarah said here, my biggest wish is to spend less time repeating myself, double handling and double hearing the same shit, especially the negative low frequency shit. so boring and draining.
Mm.
I think, yeah, that's something I desire as well. More of that. What are your thoughts on that, ladies?
Double handling, double hearing.
In the same shit.
I think how I would respond to that, Deb, you already spoke to it. It's like as soon as we make it negative or bad or judge it as wrong, that it shouldn't be happening, that I shouldn't be feeling this, that I shouldn't be in front of the fridge at 10 o'clock at night spooning something into my mouth, or that as soon as I'm there, I'm going to stay there longer. Right. And I loved what you said. Okay, well, I'm going to doom scroll for 10 minutes. This is where I am, right? I'm eating peanut butter off a spoon. Cool, right? And just actually allowing myself to be there without judging it and making it bad. Because that for me is like the glue, right? It lets me go and I move out of it so much quicker without the judgment.
I think also that we should, we're aware of those moments when that's happening, the scrolling, the eating, the whatever it is, the spiraling thoughts. And if we give ourselves grace, we be kind to ourselves in that moment. And because we are aware that's what we're doing, and you move through that moment, it's a clearing moment, right? And you come out the other side and you continue on. But I think the biggest thing is not to beat ourselves up when those things happen. So long as, we go, oh, okay, this is what's happening. This is how I'm going to get out of it. And we just continue on.
And that feeling, that visualization I like of, here is a moment. I've become conscious of the fact that I have got stuck in this pattern of particular thought pattern. From this pattern, I can let myself spiral down, or I can let myself spiral up. And that's one thought and one choice and one emotion at a time. Absolutely. That's spiraling up or spiraling down. So if we're like, oh, for God's sake, I'm doing it again, I've got so much to do, and I'm scrolling again, I hate the internet, oh my God, I wish social media didn't expect, that's a big spiral down. And it's even harder to unplug yourself out of that then, because you're just spiraling down. Whereas in that moment go, oh, wow, I caught myself. Awesome. Every time I catch myself, that's a win. Awesome. Okay. I'm just going to take a few breaths. Okay. I'm going to stand out on okay, what do I want to do now? Like consciousness, consciously choosing the next moment over and over again. So you can spiral up. Because I think that in those higher spiraling up vibrations, mindset, thoughts, these things that cause us this frustration don't exist there. And that's where we have more ability to make the choices we want to make.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that the thing that I'd want to add here is that, and it sort of riffs off the back of what I spoke about before and what you're speaking about too, Wendy, but like just taking myself off the hook, and this is the gentleness that Lisa was talking about, that this is the ongoing journey, right? This is the adventure of being human, that I'm always going to brush up against those patterns. I'm always going to brush up against that downward spiral. Always going to brush up against this, low frequency stuff because there's a spectrum and everything that we've been discussing, but to allow the gentleness that, because I don't know about you beauties, where I'm like, I should have this by now, right? I should know better, right? I mean, I teach this stuff, or, those sorts of thoughts come in, and it's like, you know what, we're here and we're human. Mm-hmm. And we are navigating whatever flavor we have on our particular journey, and we're going to be doing that for the rest of this particular journey.
Yeah, and I was going to say exactly the same thing. It's really interesting to hear other people saying, "It's me too, me too." It's happening to all of us, and not bad about it or wrong about it. It's not alone at all. It's being human.
And it just loses its power, right? It loses its power on us if we're like, okay, well, I'm brushing up against it now. Now I have a choice, which is what Wendy was talking about, which I love. So one of the things that leads me on to the next question around the sort of scarcity of time, right? And I remember reading something a while back, and it was like, when you this whole mentality of never enough or not enough. I wake up in the morning and I didn't get enough sleep, and I don't have enough this, and I don't have enough that, and it's just this constant sort of underlying current of not enough. And the question that I wanted to ask around, when time does feel tight, or when there is scarcity, or when you're drowning in this never enough or not enough, what is it that's happening inside of you, right? Your thoughts, your breath, your body, like what is it that's playing out? And what I really want to go into is, the beliefs or the stories, like what is it? And then again, what's a simple move that gives you space again?
Lisa, you go.
You've got something, haven't you? Go for it.
I think. Sorry, what was the question again?
What are the beliefs? What's playing out when you're in that not enough? I haven't got enough time. I've got too much to do. What is it?
Often, we're often like that, aren't we? And we have this to-do list of things, and I'll be, I'll be like, I can't do it. I don't have enough time, or it's not possible, or can I actually do it? These are all the questions that I'm always throwing at myself. And I take a step back and I say, it's all going to work out. That's my new mantra. It's all going to work out. It may not work out in the way I want it to work out or when I want it to work out, but I do have enough belief in myself that I know eventually it all will work out. And that's basically, it's my positive way of talking to myself. I often talk to myself like in the third person. I say to myself, Lisa, be kind to yourself, because
Can you mute Deb? Sorry, Lisa, to interrupt you. Just
That's
get
okay.
Deb to mute because we can hear the wind and we want to hear Lisa.
Cool. Yeah. So we're often very kind to other people, but we're not very kind to ourselves when it comes to maybe achieving what we want to achieve, or, we've got our to-do list that we have every day, don't we? And sometimes I think we do tend to beat ourselves up. But yes, my new mantra is definitely it will all work out in the end, and it always does. You have a look where you are now as to where you were maybe 12 months ago or maybe 6 months ago in your journey, and look where you are now. And you'll see how far you've come in no matter what it is that you've been working on, whether that be family, life, relationships, your business, and you'll see that most things do work out in the end. And that's how I talk to myself anyway. That keeps me going.
I love that. I mean, that has been so useful for me. It's like grabbing the awareness that it is going to work out. Everything's all going to come together. It always does. And if I grab that awareness, just have it now, right, then it changes the way that I move in the present moment. Yeah, beautiful. Right, Wendy?
I think I get this definitely because I think we all do, working for ourselves, being entrepreneurs. The to-do lists, we create them ourselves and they're never ending and we keep adding to them. So, and we're one-man bands, most of the time, or like small teams. And so there's a lot on that to-do list all the time. And I know for myself that I can feel that constriction. My gut is like, scrunching up, and I start to feel it's. I suppose it feels like losing confidence a little bit, or berating myself a little bit. But then I stop, like you say, I stop and I go, hang on a minute, just hang on a minute. And one thing that really helps me is this concept of, like what you said, vertical time, this concept of like thy time, not my time, like Kairos time as opposed to Chronos time. You know, that concept of there are these moments that are meant to arrive when they're meant to arrive. And the good thing about not being 20 and having been in this game for a long time and seeing the ebbs and flows, and I can look back and see that when I was pushing for something to happen and it didn't happen and I was frustrated and I was beating myself up, but then it happened in the right time. And then I look back and go, oh my God, it couldn't have happened any other way. That was the perfect way. There was other few pieces that had to fall into place in order for that to happen. And so I really remind myself of that. And I kind of every now and then go surrender that, going, okay, well, it's not up to me then. And then I can, like, that whole presence thing we're talking about is like, then I'm present to, well, what is my task today? You know, as opposed to what do I, the personality construct, demand the task to be, as opposed to when I let go, hold it lightly and surrender and show up for what the task actually is. And then that gives me like, okay, well, I'm meant to do that. And then I feel inspired to take action on that task, as opposed to when I'm forcing myself to do something, it doesn't feel inspiring. It feels sticky and constricting. And so that feeling of expansion is kind of the guide of like, okay, if anything else that's on the to-do list might feel inspiring tomorrow, you know? So, yeah, so that's a way for me to loosen the grip on that sensation. Yeah.
I love what you're saying, and it just really brings me back to my understanding around my own beliefs and what really, you know, has the power when I allow myself to, you know, go back into an orientation that has been very, very familiar, right, of a past orientation or a future orientation. And I might ask you all, like, where do you tend to spend most of your time when you're not in this grounded present state, right? Because we're never there all the time, part of being human. But knowing that, you know, when I'm in the past, it's my worth stuff playing out, right? It's all worth stuff. It's all, you know, I'm not worthy, you know, comparisonitis, they're doing this and, you know, I'm not doing that and I should be doing this. Yeah, and then if I'm projecting into the future, then it's all I'm not good enough, right? It's like, but I have to like have my business like this massive big successful thing like now, and you know, and I have to have like the next 10 years done now, and I love what you said, Wendy, because it's what's here today. Not 2 years, 3 years, 5 years of work that I need to do. Like, no, I've got it all in my brain, and it's like now. But what's here today? And I love that, because that for me is what brings me back into the present moment. It brings me back to what do I need to deal with today? You know, and I can dip into the future in terms of my vision and what I'm moving towards, what I would love to create, and then bring it back to now, what's here today. And, you know, I talk to parents, and there's a really good illustration before we go to Deb on this question, because I have parents and they're like, oh my God, you know, but what if my kid's not successful? And what if they don't get, you know, marry the right person and blah, blah. And I'm like, your baby is still in the buggy. Right? And they're like decades ahead, and they're pushing the baby in the buggy. It's like, what's here today? And it's really helped me, and you definitely spoke to that, Wendy. So Deb.
Yeah, I can spiral in those moments, and I can find myself getting into this almost martyrish state of, I have to do everything, and now I've got too much to do, and what else is everyone else doing? And, you know, and I have to, whoa, hang on a sec. A lot of the time I will take myself to my previous life, and I'll go, well, in the 9-to-5 corporate, you had a to-do list, but it was someone else's list, and you were having to, you know, deal with it then. Now, like, completely, I get to choose. I get to choose which one I'm going to bite off first. And yeah, if it's all making me feel really anxious, and it's all just feeling too much, I'll look for the light in most light-hearted, playful one I can, and really do something that's fun and get myself back into that state of gratitude. Look, I actually get to choose what I do right now in this moment, and if I want to take the entire afternoon off, I can take the entire afternoon off, and remind myself of that. I am the CEO of my life, so get over it. Don't let it overcome you. And I need to put myself off that massive platform that I tend to get on. And I don't know where that comes from. It might be a black sheep thing or I'm not sure. But I know that I need to work hard to prove to myself that I'm tough. So what I'm doing right now is that whole hustle grind way.
Yeah, we're struggling to hear you, Deb.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Sorry about. Yeah, no, okay. Well, you move on. I was just going to say that whole hustle grind way of doing things is a really old school way of doing things now, and I'm really trying to learn to play more, find the joy, find the lightness, and
Yeah.
get done
Yeah.
that way.
I think what I loved about what I caught most of it. I was just like, I want to hear it, but I get to choose. Like I get to choose. I love that. And one of the things that I wrote down was, what do I need right now? Like, what do I need right now? A question for myself. And hey, I get to choose. Love it. The last thing that I'd love to ask you, beautiful women, is around how you're being, which Deb was just talking about, the hustle and the grind and the doing, right? Human beings, not human doings, right? We've heard a lot of these things before. And I'm really curious about what one boundary is, or one ritual, or one clause. I know, Deb, you just shared one about I get to choose, and love, I am the CEO of my life. Yeah. What's a grace clause? Something that you use, or that might just drop in now, or that you just want to say, actually, I'm going to steal that one because it was really bloody good, that you can use to keep the momentum, when you are sort of spinning and into overwhelm, or into that hustle and doing. A grace clause, or a ritual, or a boundary. Lisa, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. I was just reminded, was it that series Malcolm in the Middle? You're not the boss of me now, or something like that. That song was just going through my head when I heard you say that, Deb. I'm the CEO of my life. It's so true. And I think, just to reinforce that, we get to make our choices. And I think it's really important that we remind ourselves that the choices we make are ours, nobody else's. And I guess this brings me to a situation that I had this week as well, where I compromised my boundaries in a particular activity that I deem essential for my mental well-being, my physical well-being, and my emotional well-being. And I reminded myself it wasn't anybody else's fault. It was mine. It was my choice. And I allowed that boundary to be crossed. And because, we need to be kind to ourselves, and establishing boundaries for ourselves is so important. And just to bring it back to the fact that it's our choice, it's our responsibility. Yeah. Beautiful. And so it won't be happening anymore.
I love that. Boundaries are my responsibility.
Giving myself the grace to make a mistake. And also just to remind myself that Lisa, you are the one that gets to make your choices and decisions. You're responsible. Yeah.
Beautiful. Deb, you're leaning in?
Yeah. I was just going to sort of add to that, because sometimes things that are going on in our life, it's not actually down to us. It can be down to something that someone has done to us, right? And I think the one that I'm leaning into a lot these days, because I have had people coming up against what we're doing, what we're standing for, and crossing boundaries in the process. And I keep calling on Mel Robbins' newest book, Let Them. you know, because that is also a decision. It's telling myself, you can let them do them. Doesn't mean you have to buy into it. Doesn't mean it has to affect you. You don't have to spiral. They don't have to cross your boundary. Let them do them, and I'm going to do me. So that's probably my favorite at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wendy.
I think one thing that's really my absolute non-negotiable is meditation, but really from the perspective of like that's vital to start the day, because what's important to me is an awareness of my energetic self and my energetic response. And so from that, then in moment to moment, really responding to how am I, what is my feeling, what is my response here, what shifted, like say when we're talking about boundaries or choices, if I'm making a choice to say yes, and then I can feel the shift within myself spiraling down, then I go, oh, okay, that wasn't the choice I truly wanted to make.
Yeah.
And so, or if I feel myself making a choice to say yes or do something, and I feel my energy lifting, then I'm like, okay, cool, follow more of that. And so so my non-negotiable is being very, very consistent with constantly tuning into myself, tuning into, is it a yes or is it a no? Is it lighting me up or is it not? And is it just navigating through that way? And one way that I like, speaking about time, and I wanted to bring this in because I really love this concept, is the concept of, as opposed to us being this dense little blobby being marching through this horizontal time, and it takes time to get there, when we kind of flip that on its head and imagine that you're just this permeable being, and time is moving through you, so all the experiences move through you, so you're not moving, time is moving through you, and your level of beingness is how that time is experienced in you, rather than that, because we sometimes have this, okay, if I think like this, and if I talk like this, and if I do these things, and if I eat like this, and if I show up like this, then I will affect the time, then I will affect the experience, as opposed to the experience comes and it's up, and if I am of a certain resonance, it will come through me as I want it to be. Does that make sense? And so that to me is kind of what I love about that too, is it takes that pressure of the action taking, you know, the like, oh, you know, grafting and doing, am I doing it right? As opposed to, am I being right? You know, and I really like that visual of this permeable standing still, and it's all just moving through like waves, you know? Yeah. So so for me, it's all about and that relates to what I was saying about my response energetically. And so then if I just keep checking in with that, then all I need to do is stand here and feel into that resonance, and then just let it all come. And that's again that thy will, not my will thing, because then I'm just like, okay, I'm here for whatever's showing up, passively being.
Yeah, but it's a choice, right? And I love the that's the vertical dimension, you know, and bringing it all the way back to the beginning of our call, that when I'm driving, right, that's what I'm feeling. It's like in that vertical dimension. I love everything that we've been discussing in this big theme, right? It's a huge theme, especially right now, where it can feel like time is becoming more scarce or more stretched, and people's attention spans are shrinking even more. And you know, one thing that I wanted to share to complete just this particular question before we wrap up our panel discussion, and we've been touching on it, and it's the tuning in, right? It's the coming back here. doesn't matter what's happening all around here. The only thing that matters is here. And I was talking to another woman friend about my next book title, and I was just sort of jesting around, oh, it's not them, it's you, right? It's not them, it's me. It doesn't matter what's happening out here. The only thing that matters is what I'm doing, how I'm being, how I am in me. And creating the space for grace is a lovely little mantra. It rhymes. I love it. Space for grace. It's like grace has been something that I have been aspiring to embody, right, in my life and in my beingness, which Wendy was speaking to. How am I being? So just a quick round the room. What I would love to know, just to complete, is where are you right now? And this has been a huge thing for me. Very, very, present moment. The last sort of couple of months is like the ebb and the flow. Right? Are you in the flow? Are you in the creation? Are you in the manifestation? Or are you in the ebb? Like, are you in the coming home? Are you in the with yourself? Like, where are you right now? Because I know that I was overriding some of the signals, right, and ignoring some of the signals that were asking me to be in the ebb. So where are you right now? Just a one word, right? Ebb or flow, as we wrap up this beautiful, beautiful conversation. Ebb or flow?
Definitely in the flow. Definitely in the flow, and moving. We're moving across the country as well, in with lots of people, and things are definitely flowing my way, and I've put that down to a lot of mindset work I've been doing recently, and like I mentioned earlier, all the play and following the joy that I've been doing, letting go of that hustle and grind. It's really starting to show up in my reality now. So
Wendy, ebb or flow?
Yeah, I would say flow right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the flow.
Lisa, ebb or flow?
Definitely flow, but I'd like to add at the moment that I was in ebb a couple of days ago, and I gave myself the grace to be there. It was an awareness and it was an acknowledgement that, yes, my body has said, Lisa, it was time to rest and to give myself a break. And previously I would have felt terribly guilty about having to do that. Taking that time for myself. I did have a commitment which I declined to attend to, and normally, yes, I would have felt terribly guilty. However, now I realize that we have to listen to our bodies, and I did, and so back in the flow.
Beautiful. All right. Well, thank you so much, Deb, Wendy, Lisa.
Jacqlin,
What's that?
you? Jacqlin, what about you?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been in the ebb for the last few months. Yeah, fully. And now I'm sitting in that ebb, wondering, when is the invitation going to come? When is the flow going to arrive? And I'm just resting here. Yeah,
Cool.
just resting here. Yeah, which is really uncomfortable.
It is.
It's really uncomfortable because I'm used to a lot of flow. And I was used to a lot of flow and overflow. I was overflow, and now I'm resting in the ebb. So,
So
thank you.
Topic, really.
What's that? Ebb and flow?
But the ebb and flow, and for another pulse.
Yep.
Pulse
panel.
Yeah.
So, if you're watching and you have some topic ideas that you would love to hear wisdom and insight and discussion on, we are more than open to hearing your thoughts. And thank you for tuning in and thanking these beautiful women. We're going to complete our call and look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Thanks, Jacqlin, for hosting.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.